I was kind of just, I felt sad when I was writing it, but also
Okay.
at the same time, I was like, this, I'm, I'm usually very like, oh, my work is not good sometimes, but this time I was just like, this sounds really good. And I feel like I was actually pouring my heart into it. And I just felt like this is the best song I've ever written. But yeah, like I was just excited because I had like the hooky chorus down already, which never happens. And I think I wrote most of it that day. I didn't have a bridge until months later.
Mm.
Yeah, it was just telling what happened in my life.
Cause I'm bad, so bad, what you had.
I want to officially welcome you onto Pop-Up Conversations. We're here in Toronto. We talk to artists across the country about their musical journey and projects they have in the moment. We couldn't be more excited and pleased to have you here, Clarissa.
Thank you so much. Let's get it started. Woo!
I'm glad you're excited. Okay, so I typically like to begin by going back to the start. I don't know how much of that, I really want to set a context because I know how much talent you have right now, but it hasn't always been that way, right? Yeah, there's a background, there's a context from which you started. So I know you just posted something online before I came on YouTube. You posted wake up call. I was watching that. It was
Oh, you're on
fantastic.
it.
It was fantastic. Where did that happen? Kitchener?
It was in Waterloo, yeah.
Okay,
Just like
good.
just last week. It was my first show back over like 2 years because I hadn't been performing for a while.
And how did that feel?
It was amazing. I was so excited to get back in front of like a real live audience instead of
Oh,
singing in front of a screen. I mean, both are cool, but
but you take a live audience.
the energy from the live audience is awesome.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so this is what I know about you, and you're going to help me along the way as we try to unpack your narrative so that people can actually see that, this journey has taken quite some time to get here, that, you sound remarkable and you're putting out all of these great videos. I just want to, set the foundation for what we're going to be talking about. So in high school, you started singing. You've always wanted to do that from when you were a child, but in high school, you started singing, and you get to university. I think what I find fascinating about your journey so far is that you have always desired music, but it didn't just stop there. You always found ways to express yourself and express your desire for music. So if you want to take me back to when you just got into university and the desire to keep performing at open mics and doing the campus idol that you eventually won, but what was that motivating factor for you to keep just wanting to express yourself in music?
Okay, so I do have a pretty cool story. So when I first got to the University of Waterloo, my first year,
Okay.
I like to get involved in like extracurricular stuff. So I saw that like the student union, I think they were hosting a Battle of the Bands competition.
Okay.
And like growing up, one of my inspirations was Hayley Williams of the band Paramore.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
she was a big inspiration for many years. And she's the reason that I wanted to perform and like sing in a band in the first place. I just
Okay.
thought she was so cool. I'm like, ooh, female fronted band? Yes. So there's a Battle of the Bands competition, and I was like, I really want to join this, but I don't have a band and I don't know anybody here. So what I did was I went on Facebook, I went to the search, and I typed guitar, bass, drums in the search, and it shows all the people who have that in their interests. And
Oh.
so what I did was I personally messaged these guys that I didn't know, but I knew they were also in first year university at the same school. So I messaged them each individually, and I was like, hey, I know you don't know me. There's a Battle of the Bands competition happening, and I really want to join it, but I don't have a band. Would you be down? And they all said yes. And I couldn't believe it. So we would be jamming in residence so
Okay.
loud. People probably hated us, but we got to perform. We performed 3 songs. We did "You're So Last Summer" by Taking Back Sunday, "Crush, Crush, Crush" by Paramore, and
Okay.
somehow we pulled off "Bohemian Rhapsody" by Queen.
Okay.
We did
Okay.
like a shortened version, and then we ended up winning. I was actually so shocked, but I had like the time of my life doing that. It was so much fun, like with these guys that I didn't know, but we played really well together. So it was really awesome.
Awesome, awesome. So now all of that is happening. What was the driving force? I know that, I watched a few videos of yourself, and you can tell that all of this started from when you were much younger. Paint a picture for me about the kind of environment you grew up. Did you grow up around music? Were your parents musically inclined? Where did you what was the source of music you had as a much younger girl?
So apparently, I came out of my mom's womb singing, but
Okay.
but no. I think I was around. This is something I vaguely remember. So I think I was around like 3 years old, and at family gatherings, usually like Christmas, my family and my extended family, my dad would be like, 1, 2, 3, sing, and then he would put a microphone in front of my mouth, and then I would just sing whatever came out of me at that time, 3 years old. It was probably like a mixture of ABCs and like the melody of some Disney songs. And I also had like a connection to the song, Rainbow Connection.
Okay.
I thought that was a beautiful song. So it started there. And then also I've heard my parents singing before, and I've heard them harmonizing. And I didn't fully understand it, but I thought it was so beautiful. They would sing the Everly Brothers, so like music from the 60s. So I
Okay.
grew up listening to that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, they sound beautiful, and I just started singing just super young, and they would play. We had like records at home. They'd play Beach Boys. My grandma would play ABBA while she was cleaning, so I grew up also listening to ABBA. So there was always music playing. Parents sing. My dad would play guitar. So yeah, music was everywhere.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so were there people that at some point when you started to put this all together, were there people you listened to intentionally that kind of shaped what apart from Paramore, were there people you listened to that kind of shaped what you wanted to do?
I loved a lot of like Motown, Marvin Gaye, The Temptations, Everly Brothers, because my parents would sing that. And
Yeah.
I love a lot of oldies.
Okay.
And I remember having a phase where I was just like, ugh, I hate pop music. But like I grew to love it. And especially being in a cover band, I had to keep up to date with like new music. So I try not to box myself into like just liking one genre. Like listen, open my mind to like other types of music. So but
Okay.
I love oldies.
Awesome, awesome. So this band, you guys disbanded, and but before that, you were involved in a bit of acting as well, and then you did MasterChef and all of that stuff. Yeah, yeah. Um, so it seems like you are just trying to express yourself at every turn and every corner, but in a very creative and artsy way. I want to get to the root of that. Like, why? What keeps driving you forward to do all of that stuff that you do? What would you say is the one motivating factor for you to do that?
First, I just want to say these questions are amazing because these are things that I personally should think about because like it's such a whole like the whole journey, and I'm always just thinking about like what's happening now. So going back is just amazing. So thank you. I think you know what I love entertaining.
Okay.
I just what's interesting is like my aunt. She told me I didn't know this, but she told my mom and dad when I was around 2. She's like she's gonna be in some form of arts. She's like, you just wait. And I didn't know that until recently. So I thought that was interesting. But I just being creative is just, I don't know anything else. Like any way to express myself to people, where it's music or acting, just any type of entertainment and a way to like tell my story, like I'll do it. So
So, so
No, it's so you said something just now I just want to pick up on. You said I don't know anything else. So there are times I talk to people and I ask them that if not music, what else? I always want to get that answer, but it's just beautiful the way you say, because this eventually shapes what you do eventually. I think around 2018 or 2019, where we're going to get to the point where you quit your job and you say, okay, I'm all in. I'm going to throw all of myself behind this career and see what comes of it. But I want to go back a little bit. You went on Kijiji at some point and you you messaged this guys that was looking for a female lead for their band, and then you performed with these guys for a set number of time. I want you to just take me through that process of reaching out to them and also performing for that extensive period of time, because you said it did shape your stage presence, and I want to believe it had a bit to do as well with refining your skill and getting you to the place where you are now. So just paint me that story of that process and what you gained from it.
For sure. So I was working an office job at the university. I was doing it's an academic research call center, and it was getting a little bit mundane. And it was at that point where I wasn't doing music as much. It was like a few years after the band, but I also did a little singing competitions before the whole office thing. And then I needed a way to like work at my creativity, and I just missed performing so much because I was just always on the phone in an office with no windows. I was just like, I need more. I need more. So I thought, like, I've always wanted to be in a cover band, and at that time it was my dream to be in a cover band, which I don't know if people say that, but I love singing cover songs because it's cool, especially when you're singing in front of an audience too. When people know songs and it's familiar to them and they sing and dance along, it feels awesome that they're just, rocking out with you. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I want to sing in a cover band. I want to be a lead. Because at that point, like, I wasn't really writing my own stuff. I loved like the performing aspect a lot. Mm-hmm. So I went on Kijiji and what did I type? I think I typed in female singer, and then there weren't too many results, but the one that stood out was like the female lead singer wanted for, I think it was established cover band, something like that. And I was like, hey, that's my dream at that point. So I reached out and I was like, hey, I've always wanted to sing in a cover band. It's my dream. I have a bit of performing experience. Here's some videos. And then they got me to go to their jam space in Etobicoke. And I think I sang, it was like Locked Out of Heaven by Bruno Mars. The whole band was there. We performed it like right there. And they were just like, you're in. And I was like, is that it? Like, I'm in the band? My dream has come true finally? And then I already started, like, my first gig was, I think, a month after. So it all happened like super quickly. I was actually shocked that like just put me in on the spot there. Yeah.
And performing night after night. You said you did it for a few years, but weekend after weekend. How did that feel like, and what did you come away with from that experience?
So it was super exciting because it was really new to me, and I've never performed. So we usually do 3 45-minute sets, which is a lot of music, and I've never sung that many songs before, like in a row in front of people. It was always just one song because it'd be like a singing competition.
Yes.
And now we're like performing 40 songs in a night. I was like, this is wild. I remember the very first show, I blew out my voice because I didn't have the stamina. I didn't know how to preserve my voice throughout all 3 sets. Mm-hmm. And I think it was like after the first set, I was like, I lost my voice already. But I just thought it was so fun because you just get the energy from the audience. They're singing and dancing along with you. I felt like powerful in a way, like I was the one on stage just like rocking out, and I was like, hey, I'm like Haley Williams from Paramore right now. Like, I always wanted to like be her because she was my inspiration for so many years. And yeah, I learned how to perform with a band. You have to be really tight when you're performing live. Timing is like everything.
I can imagine.
For sure. And learning how to perform, because like singing is different than performing. So like eye contact, getting the audience involved, all these things I was learning as we were doing all these gigs. So like I was a little bit shy in the beginning, I guess. I mean, I'm still shy, but I gotta like just put it on, okay?
I know I think it's invaluable experience, and I harp on that. I stay on that point because I think I read something similar in a book by a Canadian author called Malcolm Gladwell. He has this book called Outlier, but the point he made in the book was how, you know, a lot of things contribute to what a person becomes, and there's these pivotal moments. But the Beatles used to play in a pub, and they played a pub for like 5 years or so straight, just similar to yourself, like every weekend, and they were honing in on their skills, and they were honing in on their skills, so that at the time they came to what we now knew as the Beatles, they had all of this live performance under the belt, and they had performed so much that they were so seasoned that at the time that they broke out, it felt like, you know, these guys were overnight success. But of course we know that's not the case. So that's why I wanna kind of, you know, figure out what that did for you and what it has done for you, because we're gonna get to the point, because you listen to your voice and it's so good. It's what you bring to the industry is so good and it's so different, and I had to set that foundation because you have had a really long time practicing this stuff. So that's yes.
Thank you so much, though. I feel like my eyes are gonna water.
No, thank you so much. Okay, so we're on your story. Okay, in 2016 you quit your job, you did acting. 2018, I wanna where did you make that big decision? Like what prompted that big decision to say, okay, I have done this for so long, I think I have the wherewithal at this point, I think I have what it takes to actually throw in all of me into this?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was kind of just thinking, like, so it was over a period of maybe a year and a half where I was thinking, I don't really want to work this office job anymore.
Okay.
So I was like, I remember I was telling my coworker, I was like, her and I were just like, okay, we're gonna leave soon, next month, we're gonna do it. Pinky swear? Okay, pinky swear. But then we just kept delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. I think it was fear.
Yeah.
And also like I was making stable income, and we all know that when you get into music, especially in the beginning, it's not very stable at all. But also my parents as well, kind of like, you need a stable job, you need those benefits. And music, like, was always in the back of my mind, but I never thought that I could like go for it. It could be a career. It was always just like a hobby, just something you do for fun in addition to your job and whatever it is that you have to do. But like I was just thinking, like, life is short, and why not go for what you actually enjoy doing? And I've loved music since I was like 2 or 3, and it's just, I thought I should just go for it and see what happens, because I would never know if I didn't try. And like, it's okay to fail. I've failed many times, but it's just something that you got to keep doing, and you have to stay consistent. Discipline is really important. Like, and you have to just want to work at it like every day, not just something that you do when you feel like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like for inspiration as well, like, you're not going to feel inspired all the time to be creative, but you kind of just have to make yourself, like, set some time aside like every day to just do it, because otherwise you're not going to. If you're waiting to feel inspired, I feel like it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. So I listened to a video you put up on YouTube. You used a particular phrase that I wanna kind of dig into a little bit. You said something clicked in 2019. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember.
Okay, so what clicked?
What clicked? Okay, so you know what? I've been inspired by a lot of like local artists and other independent artists. So I was watching their journeys, and I just love when people are working towards achieving their goals and their dreams. And it just, I love feeling inspired. And I have so many friends that are like, they're independent artists as well, and they're just like going for it. And it inspired me to do the same thing, because I was like, why am I going to keep, working jobs that I don't like? But it's like it's like the pressure of society, family, and stuff like that you got to do.
Yeah.
Often, like the corporate thing, all that stuff. So I just thought, like, hey, if they're going for it, like, why not? Why can't I go for it? And like, I at least try. And if it doesn't work out, it's fine. At least I know that,
I hear you. So it's funny that you say that in 2019. So when I was watching your story and when I was reading up on you, it seemed to me that the one thing that was consistent is your ability to keep daring and be vulnerable. And, even with, reaching out to those 4 guys you didn't know, or, to start a band, you were always taking these bold decisions and bold risks and putting yourself out there, I think it's different from having a desire and not doing anything about it, but your story consistently has that pattern that you are always reaching out. And the story as well with you going on the classified stuff and Kijiji and reaching out to somebody, and I think that pattern eventually, came to, maybe it was a much bolder decision in 2019, but it had always been there all along, and that's what I'm learning from you and your story, that it's, you got to keep making those big decisions. So you got to be vulnerable, you got to dare greatly, which has brought you here, which has brought you to this place that we're having a conversation right now. And I am, I'm just thrilled that that's a lesson that people need to learn. If you want something, no matter how small it may be at the start, you need to keep reaching for it.
I know. I like to say it's baby steps.
Yes.
Just like little things here and there, it all adds up.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
It's so interesting that you say that, because I never thought of myself as like a daring, like risk-taking person. And then when you just said that, like, I'm reaching out to all these people, I was like, wow, I was. But I never thought of myself like that, because I've always been a shy person. So thanks for helping me realize these things. That's why I need this talk.
Well, your actions show differently, man. You might be shy, but your actions have been have shown differently. And I'm so excited to talk to you about. I know you have 2 singles out this year. If you want us, I want to talk about Confusion first, and then we'll come to Bad. Okay. The lyric video for Confusion is just beautiful. Where was that shot? We'll come to the song itself, but I was so intrigued about the lyric video, because I haven't quite seen a lyric video presented in that way before.
Really? Oh, cool. Yeah. I thought it like to try something different, because instead of just the lyrics on the screen and just different backgrounds, I was like, how would I be in it? But yeah, it was actually filmed in a studio in Toronto.
Okay.
And what's interesting is that was actually filmed maybe a year and a half before it was released, because I kept pushing back the date of release.
Okay.
Due to like perfectionism and just like, I don't know if it's ready. I think it could be better. Stuff like that, just getting in my own way. But I'm so happy that it was already filmed. It was already done. Same with the image, the artwork that was used. It was all done like over a year before the release happened. Well, so I was kind of prepared.
Yeah. No, the artwork is so beautiful as well. So about the song itself, personally, how long ago did you write it, and do you want to tell us what Confusion is about?
For sure. So I actually remember I think I was sitting on the TTC in Toronto, on the subway, and I was just thinking about, it was inspired by past relationship, or as some people call it, situationships, where you're involved with someone and you're just not sure of their intentions, or you're not sure if they actually, like you, but like neither of you have the balls to say something first. So you're kind of just going on with this situationship, like not talking about it. So it's very uncertain. So confusion. And I always say like communication is key to like, you gotta know what's up. Like I just never had, the courage to like ask like, hey, like what is this? I know people hate that question, like, what are we? I always found myself in those situations. So I thought, I'm going to write about it. So I had my Google Notes open on the TTC, and I just started writing just little like one-liners. Thinking that nothing would happen of it, actually. And I kind of just put it away, because every time I think of like a line or something inspires me, I make sure to put it on paper or in my phone, because I 100% will forget always. So I had it in there. I think that was around mid or late early 2019, I think.
Okay.
And then I forgot about it. And then I had a trip to LA booked, and I was going to collaborate with a producer there named Corey Barker. And it was initially just to collaborate on a song. This was not for my single.
Okay.
And so went there, and we were just he was creating a vibe, because we made the whole thing. It was from scratch. So he was like experimenting with different sounds. And I wasn't sure about my sound. Like I had never really written like for myself or like made a song for myself. So we were just experimenting with different sounds. He's like, oh, like what kind of sound are you going for? I'm just like, like pop, R&B, I think. Like I was so unsure, but he came up with this little vibe. He was playing the guitar, and I was like, okay, this is cool. I'm like, I need some words. Took out my phone, and I was like, oh, this thing that I was writing out a few months before. Just started singing over it. Just trying to figure it out, sing it in the pocket, make it sound good. And Confusion was born. It took like a few months, though. I think I went to see him twice to like do the final touches. But yeah, that was like my first experience writing a song. And what's interesting is that, so it wasn't for the single, right? Did that collaboration, and then he sent it to me, and I was like getting super attached to it. And the more I listened to it, the more I loved it. And I was like, I think I want this as my song. What's funny is initially I was like, hey, let's pitch it to other artists. Because I thought like, oh, this could be like Halsey singing this or some other artist. And then I got too attached to it, and I was like, I want to release it as my own.
I think
no, but the first word in that song is distraction, if I remember correctly. It was distraction or something. The first word, so in the process of writing, how much is personal experience important to you? Because you have just told me about confusion, and I think the same theme kinds of runs through into Bad, which we're going to talk about soon. The same theme, I think, matures in Bad, what you started in Confusion, which I found interesting. So how much of your experience does bleed into a project when you're writing? And is it, do you try to water it down? Do you try to hold back a little bit, or you bear it as it is?
I would say, like, if I had to choose a number, I'd be like 80% of me and my personal experience in it. And then I try to make it, I wouldn't like not vague, well, maybe vague enough so that other people could relate to it, but it's still like most of me in it.
Okay.
So like usually like for my songs, I want people to take away whatever they need from it. If they can relate it to something else that's happening, even if it's not the exact same situation as mine. But I definitely like a lot of personal experiences in the song, because that's what inspires me. It's my life, so I want to write about it.
Gotcha. Okay, let's talk about Bad, which I think is just a really I think it's a very technical song. Would that be a fair assessment? There's in your singing, the structure isn't simple. I think, let me just use that very basic word. There are places where you modulate, where I think probably the next artist would not necessarily do that in your chorus structure. It feels very technical.
That is so interesting to say that. Because I'm not technical at all. So when that's cool. That's cool.
No, it does sound that way, but give me a sense of the creation of the song and how it was produced, how it was written. I hear some blues guitar in there. It like, is that correct? Am I correct to say that there's like a blues riff in there when it just starts, and it's yeah. So, but just let me know about the creation process when it was written. And I know it's about, and this is the question I want to ask you here about the content of the song and the meaning. Okay, let's go back. Just tell me about the creation process. I'm going to ask you the one question I've been longing to ask you from the song.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely remember it very clearly. I was sitting on my couch. It was like June, maybe it was like June 16th last year, sitting on my couch with my keyboard, and I played a D minor chord.
Okay.
And then I just started singing. And it was the most easy and most difficult song that I've ever written, if that even makes sense. It's like both, just contrast, but the reason it was difficult because of the content, but it flowed out of me so easily. I started with the chorus first.
Okay.
I never start with the chorus when I'm writing. It's always the verses, and then I run out of content for the chorus. So I feel like I was so lucky to write the chorus first. I was writing it down, playing the keyboard. I was kind of I felt sad when I was writing it, but also at the same time, I was like, I'm usually very like, oh, my work is not good sometimes, but this time I was just like, this sounds really good, and I feel like I was actually pouring my heart into it, and I just felt like this is the best song I've ever written. But yeah, like I was just excited because I had like the hooky chorus down already, which never happens, and I think I wrote most of it that day. I didn't have a bridge until months later. Yeah, it was just telling what happened in my life.
Yeah. So I read that, you know, I think you're not from the point of the storyteller. It's almost like a self-sabotage type of happening, right? What would you say is the cause of that? Like, why? I think that's the one question I want to ask, because, like you said, it's something that other people can relate to. But why do you think people get into this sticky place where even when they have something good, they kind of want to self-sabotage it?
I wish I could answer that, but it's just like it was kind of like a guilty feeling. I felt bad because this person was just showing me so much love, and I felt like I just wasn't in the right mindset to return it. And I felt so bad about it that like I just thought like, I don't deserve you because you are too good. I'm bad. I just like came up with every excuse to just end it because I just felt like I couldn't give what they wanted or needed from the relationship. It was a lot of just guilt, and like once I think about like something negative about myself, it just kind of manifests and grows, and I just try to shut myself off from people. It's a cycle of mine, unfortunately. I think like it always happens around like the second year of a relationship. I don't know why. I gotta get over that. But that's like at that point is when I kind of just want to run away and be off on my own, doing my own things, not worrying about anyone. And I just felt so bad because there was just so much love there that I felt like I couldn't return at the time.
Okay, but it was remedied though. It was remedied. That situation turned around. If you don't mind, yeah. If you don't mind me asking, how did that mend? How did we mend that? And is that gonna probably make itself into a song?
Ooh. And I actually remember this vividly as well. So there's one thing I'm horrible at is communication sometimes in relationships. I'm the type
Okay.
that'll hold everything in until it explodes. It always explodes. Hence me like wanting to just like run away and stuff. But I remember sitting on my floor and I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna get a piece of paper out. I'm gonna write down what I feel, everything I feel. And I never do that. I never sit down and think about how I feel. I always avoid situations or anything that has anything to do with feelings.
Yeah.
But I forced myself to sit down and just think about like, why didn't this work? Like, what do I need? Like, what is right for me? And like, I just realized that why did I get rid of such a good thing? Because of these like things I was thinking about, like myself. Like everything was going really well, but it was just my mindset. It's hard to like when you're just feeling all these negative thoughts, is you just go down a rabbit hole. But like really, I realized that everything was good. I don't know like what was wrong with me. So I was just sitting on the floor for like 2 hours, writing everything out. And what's interesting is on a paper, just one big white paper, I wrote, all my feelings that I feel today will be the same tomorrow. So all of those feelings that I thought, and I woke up the next day and I read it, I was like, it's true. This is the way I feel. I think that this could work. I'm glad that I sat down with all my feelings and figured out like why things weren't working and like how we can make them work. So it went up from there after I sat down to think. And that's what I was actually really proud of myself, because I never do that. I never just think about my feelings. I always just push them aside, and that's why I have trouble communicating.
Well, I'm so at the top of this conversation, I said I was really glad to be talking to you today. And I mean that. Bad was released on August the 20th. And I think it's a so beyond the song, I think that you're a remarkable singer, and that when you go back to look at your story and how far you've come, you can tell why you're this good. It's self-evident why you're this good at this point. I'm just a fan of yours. I'm a fan of the song itself. The video was incredibly shot. I think it captured the intensity. I also read the just storyboarding and what you guys wanted to do with the visuals that I think you guys nailed, between reality and abstraction from your mind and all of that stuff, using geometry and shapes and stuff like that. But just being committed to that process of wanting to further the story of a song, even visually, I think it speaks to, just your attention to detail, and I think that's gonna serve you really well. So, congratulations on the single, Clarissa. I know it's doing big things. We're gonna do our little part here to point people to the music. But of course, you're well headed on your way, and we're just gonna be cheering for you as you continue on your journey, taking bold decisions and bold steps, and just daring greatly as you have for the last 8-10 years of your life. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Wow, thank you. I'm really proud of this like entire project. It's funny because I've never been this proud of anything that I've done. Not that I haven't been proud of all the previous things, but this is just the one big thing that I'm super proud of, and I'm glad people are resonating with it. And I'm glad I made that visual for the music video. I was like, I need a music video because I didn't do one for my previous single.
Confusion, yeah.
But there may be one.
No, but that lyric video, it's a music video / lyric video. It's not just it's really good. So congratulations, Clarissa. We can't wait to see what happens next. All of this is adding up to an EP, I suppose, or no?
I'm thinking of like releasing a bunch of singles first. I feel like I'd like to expand my catalog on streaming platforms before I release an EP.
Okay.
But I do have a couple ideas for an EP. Because
Okay.
I do have some incomplete songs that I started writing that I think are pretty cool.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's some ideas in the work.
That would be great. I'd love to hear you over, over a few songs to just to get the breadth and the depth of your abilities, and you're incredibly talented vocally. And again, I think it has come from just years and years and years of practice, and it's gonna serve you well. So thank you so much. Congratulations on the single. Congratulations on all that you're working on, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. You really made me think back, and I love that. So thank you. I needed that. See, I remember I told you I don't sit down and like just think about stuff. So this made me think. I appreciate it.
I'm glad. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. I know there's been a lot of people here. We want to say thank you for coming on, coming on and hanging out with us. We couldn't get to all of the comments you put up there, but we're very thankful. Clarissa, thank you so much. We'll keep talking for sure. And I want to wish you a lovely rest of your evening, okay?
Thank you so much. You too.
No problem. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.